What's up guys, happy new year. Thank you for clicking on the video. We made it through 2018. Congratulations. It's been a great year. A heck of a ride, if I say so myself. A lot has been experienced by me. I've learned so much this year. Man, and just like the universe has just thrown so many blessings on my lap. I cannot wait to share all this stuff with you guys. So thank you for clicking on the video. If you watched my last year in review in 2017, go ahead and drop a like or comment and let me know what you guys think about this. I'm gonna try to make this as brief as I can, but realistically this was a long year and a lot happened. And if you did watch my last video, you recall I did say that 2017 was the best year of my life, and I can say with full confidence at this point 2018 is the best year of my life this far, and the trend will probably continue in 2019 if it definitely will. I can promise that. But to I don't know, I guess just to make this video easy, I went through my journal and I kind of refreshed myself on some of the highlights and the things I wanted to share. Went around my room, grabbed some things I wanted to also share, and yeah, I'll just kind of talk about the things I've experienced and things I learned, and just, you know, what made this year such a blessing that it was, and such a miracle. So if you did watch my last video, you would kind of understand where I started this year at. But if you didn't, and you're not familiar with who I am either, my name's Mark. I'm the founder and the CEO of MetaGifts LLC. So this business was started in late October of 2017. So once the calendar flipped over to January at the beginning of this year, I was running this business. I was about 2 months into it, and I was being helped by some of my best friends, my close friends, who helped me launch the site, and we're all just kind of learning it together and figuring out e-commerce, because like I said, this was the first time we'd ever done anything like this, and we were just kind of exploring. Nobody that we know personally is successful in e-commerce, so it's new ground that we were breaking and new things that we had to learn. And a lot of times it was very exciting. Most of the time it was very exciting and just invigorating, and it really set the pace for the entire year, just owning my own business, something that had once been just an idea in my head that I had manifested physically and I could see. And then when it started bringing me money, that just completely changed my life. Once I made the store, and then I remember when I got my first sale, I remember that whatever me and my friend Andrew were doing, I believe my other friends, they were going to the store, like the gas station or something, but me and my friend Andrew were just sitting in my bedroom and we were working on the site, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but as soon as my phone goes cha-ching, whatever we were talking about was instantly over, because we were jumping up and down and freaking out and screaming and just going crazy because it worked. Like, thank God. Like, that's a blessing. That's amazing. Pardon me. But like, oh my goodness, I can't tell you how happy that first sale made me. Like, no exaggeration, my life was changed after that moment, because I realized, like, at that point in time I was thinking, even if this store doesn't work out, I did it. Like, I made money on the internet. Like, oh my goodness, I generated money through e-commerce. Like, that's wonderful. So I was very proud of myself and very happy, and just kind of, once that happened, like I said, the tone was already set because of this business. Once January rolled around, we'd already been 2 months into this and had a little bit of time to really work on the routine of being an entrepreneur and balancing, you know, workload and then investing into your job. I mean, like, physical job and then business. If you are investing in becoming an entrepreneur, chances are you're already trading your time for money in your job. So you need to understand, like, how to use your resources the smartest way and be the most effective with it. So This year, I obsessed over my routine. Like, I hit my routine religiously. Not only did I meditate pretty much every day, at least once a day, towards the very beginning of this year, I also got into yoga, and that changed my life so much as well. That was one of the best habits I was able to implement this year. By doing yoga, you are stretching your body, so your muscles are gaining more range of motion. And then also, yoga is more than just stretching and sitting in postures. Yoga is a breathing exercise as well. So, in addition to, before I even say in addition to, yoga as a breathing exercise, you can almost kind of look at yoga like physical meditation, where you're moving your body and twisting it, and then opening your space, allowing more oxygen, and just utilizing your body better. Like, you'll notice when you do yoga and you haven't done it for a while, you create so much space inside of your body, and you just have more room to move, and you feel better, and your blood is flowing better, and you're thinking clearer, and you can remember things better, and your attitude is better, and just everything's better. Like, yoga is magic. So if you guys want to make this next year even better and you haven't already explored yoga, do it. You won't regret it, I promise. I was a little skeptical at first, but once me and my friends started really getting into it, I fell in love with it, like, almost instantly. And it's kind of addicting because, like, sometimes you might just, like, sleep wrong and your neck will hurt when you wake up, or your back might hurt, or whatever the case might be. Your body's gonna hurt, so it's a very good tool you can use to stretch your body, get your range of motion back, and kind of restore some equilibrium. And in addition, it's also really relaxing too, so that's really great. And yeah, it's good for your mind, body, and soul. So that's one thing that really helped me. As far as my routine as well, some other things I was really into. I did mention at the beginning of this video, I looked at my journal to refresh myself. I made it a point to journal every day, morning and night, to keep my ideas fresh, and to keep my goals visible, and to review them often. I also journaled for that reason. And also, I will show you something kind of cool, and this is like what all my journals look like. And really, this is something that I confidently believe gave me so many results. So throughout all of my journal entries every single day, this is a completed journal, but in every journal entry, one thing I'll let you know is it always is going to end with a you probably have no chance of reading my writing because it's terrible, but every time I finish a entry, I write myself a mantra. And a lot of the times the mantra changes, they get reused a lot, but the most common mantra I will use on, like, most pages is every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Like, I will just write something into existence, and by writing it, you're engaging different levels of your mind, and that's going to be implementing throughout your life. So, words are magic. Write that stuff down. Whatever you want, write it down. I did this, like, every day. Like, thank you, universe. Thank you, angels. Thank you, this. Thank you, universe, for my blessings. This is my lucky day. That was written in the morning. And you can better believe the next page, when I write at night, I'd literally just recount all my blessings. Like, it's crazy. I would literally be in the habit, and this is like, my routine just worked so well, and it gave me a lot of results. And at this point in the year, since we're starting again, and you can do this more than just every year, but it's important to sometimes look at your routine and then restructure it so you can get better results. But I was so addicted to doing this because I would wake up and I would hit my routine perfectly, and I'd meditate and I'd do yoga, and I'd get my mind, body, and soul right every day, and then I would set my intentions, I'd set my goals, and then every night hit all my goals, or most of my goals, and it was just amazing. It's like, I was just really, like, experimenting and learning how I can create my reality and just manifest whatever I want. I already made a business out of nothing, so what else can I create? I just kept on learning and learning and learning, and yeah, so that's got a lot more to do with the theme of this year, and I'm gonna kind of just, I guess, now go through the months and just kind of give you more of a chronological explanation of how this year played out for me. So in January, I could say there was a lot of busy work, just on the grind, working on the website, making changes, experimenting with more products, advertising, just doing it well. And the only real notable thing I could find in January in my journal, and this is unfortunate, but I'm so grateful this happened. I crashed my car into a parked car. Oh, bruh. Yeah, a parked car on my street. Like, come on, man. And as whack as that is, and unfortunate as it is such a blessing because I wasn't paying attention, and I learned a valuable lesson about distracted driving. If I were to be distracted on like any highway, I could have literally just been like 5 minutes ahead. If that didn't happen, I could have been distracted on a major highway. I could have died, So even though it was really pricey and it was really upsetting and really inconvenient, I'm so blessed that I ended up crashing my car this January, because I learned, like, if I had lost my life in a car accident because I didn't get reality checked, that literally could have been a mistake that cost my life. So I have no regrets about that. So that was fun. Crashed my car this January. It was a pricey fix. Yeah, it was great. Then back on the grind, back to it, just working on the website. February, I also got to experience something new. Whenever I was like 15, I got very heavy into like dubstep and electronic dance music, and I went through, I would guess you could call, a phase of just listening to nothing but dubstep and house and just EDM and trap and all these different electronic musics. And I had always wanted to see that type of music live, and I'd never been able to experience it. And my friend Andrew, who is one of my best friends and partners with me, helped me launch the store and everything, and is my best friend to this day. He actually was the one who encouraged me to have my first live EDM experience. So on Valentine's Day this year, we went to the pageant in St. Louis, and we saw Excision live. That was really amazing. For a short time, I had that chalked up as the best day of my life, and just for so many good reasons. I met so many beautiful people there, and there's so much good energy. The music was amazing. Just the vibe was unlike anything other. And I don't know, if you are going to the pageant next year, you'll be seeing me there, because it was beautiful and I wouldn't miss it for anything. It was a new experience, and I don't know, if no one's ever experienced it and you're a fan of just live music, you should. It's a really great environment, and I don't know, great people, like-minded, like yourself. If you enjoy that, I would recommend it. And so that's, I guess, there's more than one notable thing, but that's the most notable thing I saw in my journal once I just flipped through it really quick. One thing that's really cool that happened in March, and this year has just been as we go throughout these months, it's really great, because I can personally see where I make progress on my spiritual journey. I know personally, in addition to just experiencing different things, the way my routine was set up and the way my intentions and my attention was fixed, I learned a lot through my books. I learned a lot through experience. I learned about the nature of the universe just by experiencing and manipulating it as well. And then I also just learned about energy and so many different things which affect my life every day in every way. And I just feel overall my understanding of this world just grew and grew gradually. But one really cool thing that had my world totally rocked in March, there's one day that me and Andrew are we're shopping for crystals, and I believe there was this there's a medium that had once been in the store that we were shopping at, and I think she looked at his palm, and she also was able to see his spirit guides that were surrounding him at the time, and it just shook his world. And he was like, oh my goodness. Oh, and also it is 12 o'clock, so I just heard some fireworks go off. Happy New Year, guys. And we were just, so that was a notable moment for Andrew. We were shopping for crystals this one day, and he just had the idea to ask the owner how she was doing, or if she was around, or like, you know, how to get into contact with her. It's been a while. And that day, as soon as he says that, she's like, actually, she's holding the monthly meetings tonight at the store, so if you want to see her, come back in like 2 hours. So we're like, okay, what? Like, what a coincidence. It really wasn't, but we're like, okay, bet, we're gonna come. We came back a couple hours later, and the theme for the monthly meeting, every time these monthly meetings are held at the store after they're closed, they just kind of talk about, they'll pick a topic and they'll kind of just discuss it, and you know, like-minded people will just kind of share information and knowledge. But pardon me, the theme for that night was using pendulums and dowsing and divining with pendulums. And this class was honestly so crazy because going into this, I already had some preliminary like knowledge about pendulums. So my mom has always had pendulums around when I was a kid, and my mom has always been one to work with crystals and kind of had me introduced to those things at a young age. And I knew that you could use a pendulum to get like a yes or no answer, or use it to douse your chakra and figure out like how good your energy is in any of your centers, like your third eye or your heart or something like that. But it was just really amazing. I gained a lot of knowledge from Ginger, who is the one who runs these meetings. She's really amazing. She is so tuned in, and she's so interesting and just so loving. Just a really great spirit. And she taught us so much about pendulums and just how they were used in history and other things you can use them for, like how dowsing as an art has been used to locate objects and like find mines, like in the military. You can use a pendulum to locate objects as well, and that just blew my mind. I was like, what? How can you do that? And she's like, okay, we're gonna do an exercise now. And she gave everybody who was attending the meeting a pendulum. I ended up getting a rose quartz pendulum, and it was very like synchronized because I had been working with rose quartz for like about a month or two leading up to it. Like, I had this wand right here that I had carried with me basically everywhere, like all the time, because I don't know, I ended a relationship in 2017, and I had a lot to do with learning to love myself, and this crystal helped me tremendously. Rose quartz is one of the best stones you can to teach yourself unconditional love. I swear by this stone. It is amazing. But she gave me a rose quartz pendulum, and I was like, whoa. Instantly I was connected to it because I love rose quartz, and I've already experienced working with it so much. And basically the exercise that we had was, she showed us a little velvet drawstring bag, like a little pouch, and like these are the little pouches you basically get whenever you buy like little tumbled stones or jewelry or whatever. And she shows us this little black bag, and she's like, I have one of these bags hidden somewhere in the room inside the store, and she's like, you guys gotta go find it. So she gives us paper and pencils and stuff, and pardon me, we all draw a map of the store of what we want it to look like. We draw ourselves a compass square and give it directions and stuff like that. And she has us like hold the pendulum, and as I'm holding mine, this is my pendulum. And so imagine it was rose quartz, but I'm holding it, and it starts to just circle and circle and circle, and I'm connected to it. And like basically I went over to the compass in my, like, the compass I had made, and I just visualized the black bag, and immediately got a response from where I was putting it on which direction. And I noticed that like the north direction was getting a lot more of a response, and like I pretty much immediately tracked down where I thought this bag would be like in about 10 or 20 seconds, because like the reaction with the pendulum was so strong, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I'm definitely not moving this, like I'm getting some info right now. And I don't know, I had plenty of time to just like, I was pretty sure quickly where it was, but then I had time to ask questions and like, you know, is this bag on the ground? Is it near the door? Where is it? Like, is it on a shelf? Is it next to stuff? And like, I was getting such clear answers. So as soon as we had permission to like, okay, go ahead and look for it, you can use your pendulum for help if you need it, I'm like, I'm just gonna go get it. So I stand up, and as soon as I turn around, like within 3 seconds of standing up, I had that bag, and this little guy was inside of it. And this has been a really great tool for energy. You don't need like a fancy quartz pendulum if you want to start using it as a tool for like dowsing or divining, but man, this one's nice. And I don't know, I feel like I'm very connected to it. I feel like this pendulum did, and I definitely did. So that was really awesome, a really cool experience, and that was like really, really interesting. I didn't expect that to happen, and since then I have used this pendulum many times. Like anytime I lose something and I can't find it, I will use my pendulum to find it, and it works like a charm. Like it's amazing. It's a great tool. Personally, for me at this point, I don't usually like to use it for like yes or no answers, because I usually can get those answers better. My intuition will just kind of let me know what's the word and what's the move. But that was really cool. That happened in March. And then April, back on the grind. I don't really think much happened. Spiritual journey continues. It's never over. Read more and more books. Gained more knowledge. Learned more about running a business. In May, I don't know, not much happened at all. It was literally more of the same stuff, just more numbers, more sales, more optimizing the business, setting goals, and I really wish I would have taken time to like show where the website was, or like archive how it was, how it looked back in the day, like a year ago or along the lines, because it has come such a long way and so many changes have been made. But then in June, that was cool. June was great. June was a time of just a lot of work in my job and balancing my business. Oh, this is what happened in June. This was amazing. This was a really cool day. Basically, as my spiritual journey went through, this has been steady, but since that pendulum experience, my intuition grew quite a lot, and just trusting myself and making the right moves spontaneously just became a lot easier. And I remember one time I had to work a double at my job, and I didn't get enough sleep the night before, and I was a little bit upset at first, and I don't remember what affirmation I used, but I just knew in the morning that everything was going to be okay and I was going to be exactly where I needed to be. And it was a slow morning, and as like a little bit of a little more information, I was working a double, but at my job there's two types of doubles. You can either have, it can be with a break or without a break. So I had a double without a break, and it was dead slow for the first part of my shift, and I waited on a couple tables and realized that my time is worth way more than the money I was making. And I ended up like going to my general manager and convincing him to let me go. Like I just needed to go so bad. I needed to go home, and he didn't let me off for the rest of the night, but he said, you can go home and you can come back when your second shift starts. And I remember like driving home and just seeing like license plates and just different repeating numbers, and just like numbers in alignment, and just my spirit just resonating in a way telling me like, you're right, your time is way more valuable right now. And like when I went home, that was the day that I actually stumbled across a service that would help me register my business legally. And at that point, I registered, I filled it all out, I got the paperwork submitted, and sent the money in. And what was crazy is it cost me money to register my business, but it was such a blessing because in doing so, I actually opted in for my business checking account, and I was able to get a sign-up bonus that covered up literally everything that I spent on my business. So that happened for free, essentially. So what a blessing. After that happened, and I got my business registered legally, it did take some time to process the paperwork, but I became the legal owner of an LLC, like MetaGifts LLC. It is written in the books. I have an EIN, and once I got the EIN, I went ahead and I hired an accountant and a tax advisor to help me sort out all my expenses and all of my investments and keep all my transactions organized, help me with my taxes, and just help me run my business how a business owner should, show me some ropes so I can be great at this. And so I got my business legally registered, accountant, tax advisors, went ahead, opened the business bank account, got all my money separate from my business money, just gradually took things more and more seriously and just made changes and just asked myself, what's the next move? A lot of work had to be done this year, and I got so much accomplished, but I just did the best I could in making sure I didn't stay overwhelmed, or if I did get overwhelmed, to not stop if I had to. Just, make it one step at a time and just try to accomplish the next thing I had to do. And I ended up getting pretty far this year, and I'm very proud of myself, and next year is going to be greater. So June was awesome. I made a lot of good footwork, and that was a huge milestone. And in July, it's a really fun month for my family. Most of the birthdays are in July, including my own, on the 29th. So celebrated a lot for my family, and had my birthday. It was amazing. That was another great time. I ended up going to a concert at the amphitheater in St. Louis to see, I intended to see Rich the Kid and Chris Brown, but whenever I went to the show, it turned out to just be Chris Brown and some other people. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but I was still with all my loved ones and my friends, and I had a really great time listening to music and stuff like that. So that is the day that I would probably say was the best day of my life at this point. So it was Valentine's Day until my birthday rolled around, and I got to have an even better time. But then, I guess since July is a little bit past half the year, the second half of my year, honestly, I think is even crazier than the first half. And because I've been on the spiritual journey for a little bit, and I've been able to understand some things about energy and creation and just how to manifest, a lot of this year I tried to create and speak in a lot of things, and I learned a lot about being specific and manifesting exactly what you say and exactly what you intend and think and feel, because a lot of the times, especially towards the beginning of the year, in my journal namely, or just verbally out loud, I would try to manifest certain things that I already had and I didn't know I already had it. In the beginning of my journal, so many times it says I will become financially free, or as I am financially free and I'm self-employed, or that's my goal, is to be financially free and self-employed. So in my mind, I'm thinking I want to own my own business, and I want to have enough money to do anything I really need to, and I would like my business to cover all my expenses, and I'd like to have free time to not have to work a job. That wasn't what I specified. I only asked for financial freedom and self-employment. So once I started my business, I already had self-employment. So whether I realized it or not, I was asking for something I had before the year even rolled around. And financial freedom, it has been a long time since I haven't had money for something. I say that humbly. The universe has just blessed me to have an abundance of money for any time I've needed something. And if you don't realize it or not, you might be in the same boat already. Like if you look into your past, there might be some circumstances where you couldn't afford something. And there have been times when I can say the same thing, but if you didn't have it, you didn't need it. So you're still good. You're watching this video. You're fine. You're blessed as well. So congrats. But I don't know. I realized that like at some point, maybe halfway through the year, that like I need to redefine my goals, and I need to like be more clear, because the universe will give me what I want, but I just need to specify. And I remember at one point in the beginning of the year, and probably a couple times, I had asked for the universe to get me out of the country, because I'd never been out of America yet, and I just wanted to. And in July, I met a woman over the internet, and at this point in the story, I guess I'm gonna make up a name, because me and this person, we aren't on good terms right now, just because of the way things unfolded. But I have love in my heart for this person, even though the things didn't work the way they were supposed to. I'm not gonna hold any negative energy towards her, and I'm not gonna do anything that could hurt her business or hurt her reputation or anything like that, because I do respect her, and I don't think it's fair of me to offer a biased side of the story without, giving her the benefit of the doubt or allowing her to share her side as well. So in July or June, one of these months, on Facebook, in a group page about crystals, I met a woman who, well, actually, I just saw a post of a woman who had an amethyst on her dog, and her dog was just sleeping so peacefully, and I was just like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Hit the love button. She ended up friending me, and we just started talking and stuff like that, and because we're like-minded, we're in the same group, similar interests, and we just started talking, and since we're friends, we're seeing each other's posts, and this person, which I guess we can call her like Lucy, because it doesn't matter, it's not her name, but Lucy is like a life coach, so people pay her for her time, and not only is she a coach, she is on her spiritual path, and she has her own psychic gifts. Like every person on this planet is psychic, I promise you. Like we all have our 5 senses that you're very well aware of, and there are also extra senses which most of us haven't tuned into yet, but we all have. And this person, very gifted, very high energy, like very, very powerful, very great at manifesting anything they really wanted. So like, I was drawn to this person like a moth to a flame, because I'm trying to get my vibe higher. Here's like the brightest flame I could find, So we were drawn to each other, and I could see, like, just because, the way she carried herself, I could see what gifts that she had and the things that intrigued me. And as I'm trying to realize more things in this universe, I was trying to learn, and I was learning from her just by just watching. And for a while, she would, I'd look at her posts, and she'd say like, who wants to learn this or whatever? Who wants to learn how I do this? And I'm like, heck yeah, you're like a wizard. Let me learn. So I would like try to message her or whatever, and she's like, well, this program's like $1,000. This program's like $2,000. This one's like $5,000 or whatever. And like, I'd been investing in my business all year, so like I wasn't swimming in money that I could just invest in my own spiritual development. So like, I never told her that it wasn't a reasonable price, because like I really believe that energy work is valuable, and like counseling is valuable as well. So I didn't knock it, but I was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to waste your time, but I can't afford your services. And kind of just forgot about it. I'm like, I'm not gonna waste your time. And then over time, as the months go on and like the weeks go on, I just kind of like engage with her posts, because I know I can't give her money. She's a businesswoman, and I'm not trying to waste her time. So I'm just gonna engage. I'm gonna give her my energy, and if I can ever comment something valuable, I will. So just kind of go back and forth over time, building this relationship. And I remember at one point we just exchanged info on one of her posts, and the things that I knew intrigued her, so we ended up just like talking on the phone for like hours and hours and hours about like just things that we knew. You know, it's not really important, so I'm not going to go into detail, but we were just vibing and just like teaching each other things on the phone. And at one point she decides that she wants to look at my natal chart and my astrology and just learn about me and, you know, just see more about me because she's intrigued. And as soon as she like does my natal chart, she's like, oh my goodness, like you would be like the best personal assistant I could ever have. And as a businesswoman, she's already got an understanding of her resources and her time and her money, and just wants to make her business go by better. So she was just looking for somebody to help her have some more structure, stay organized. Like my rising sign is a Virgo. I love structure. I'm also a Leo sun. I am very loyal, and I've got a lot of fire too, so I'm very ambitious as well and very passionate in everything I do. And my moon's in Libra, so like just those, I gotta be balanced and I need things to be organized, and yeah, my scale's gotta be level too. So I don't know, but just everything she saw in me in my houses and all my charts and everything like that, really she was just drawn to it. And she said, like, if you want to be my personal assistant, you can. And I was like, are you freaking serious? Like, oh my goodness. And I don't know if I did jump the gun, but this person, since we met on Facebook, this is a European person. They're from Europe, like they're not in America. And they want me to become their personal assistant. And they're a coach, they're already high paid. Like they have high-end courses that I can't afford, and they're selling them to people, and they want me to help them so I can make money helping them, and they're gonna be helped by me. Like, why wouldn't I want to do that? And I'm gonna get to like leave the country. So over the next couple months, I made myself a checklist, and I started knocking down all the things I needed to do. I got my passport, I, you know, got new contact lenses, and I did certain things to set my business up, and I just got all my ducks in a row. And I didn't even tell my parents. Like, I kept it pretty much like an entire secret for most people except like my closest friends until like maybe about a week before I left, because I didn't want anybody to stop me. I didn't even want myself to get in my way. And like a week before I even left to go meet this person, I'm like, hey Dad, I need to talk to you because like I'm going to Spain like in a week, and I'm gonna go meet this person that you don't know because of this opportunity that just fell in my lap. And at the point, I don't know, if you're all listening to me tell this story, you might have got that skeptical bone going off or whatever, because I don't know, not everything is always how it seems, and that's okay. But yeah, I ended up going to Spain. Everything worked out like surprisingly perfect. There were a lot of moments where I didn't think it was going to work, and just like the guidance I received and the intuition I followed, and everything just like strangely led me exactly where I needed to be. And I believe it was in September was when I actually got on the plane to go to Spain, and I left my job behind, and I met Lucy, we'll say, in Spain in a villa in Altea. And I don't know, I was under the impression that I'm staying with a really high paid coach, and I'm not going to go into too many details because like I'm not trying to give a lot of info about this person, like I said, to try to keep the reputation solid, but also I want to be as transparent with my life, you know, because I believe authenticity is very important too. So I also kind of want to tell you genuinely what happened, you know. But I know that currency differs from most countries, but before I came to Spain, I was under the impression I'm going to be staying with a coach who is a millionaire, who has made over $1 million US doing the work she's done. So I'm like, you're effective, you're high paid, you're successful, you're capable of taking care of yourself, and you just want me to help you. All you're asking is that I meet you in a different country. Sign me up. So I went ahead and I did it, and met her in Spain the first day. in the villa that I had seen pictures of on the internet. So I was like, okay, dope, this is cool. Nice. I made it. I'm in a different country. I've never been out of America before, but I made it. I'm inland. I'm where I thought I was going to be. Nice. Perfect. And I'll show you guys pictures of this trip as I'm talking about this. We made it to the villa. It was really weird. There were like there was so many like dead animals, like taxidermied like antlers and stuffed like gophers and owls and stuff and like turtles. It was a very weird energy type of place. So like she wasn't feeling it, and it was also a little bit pricey too, because like it was I couldn't call it a mansion, but this was a very, very expensive villa in a very nice part of Spain. And the real intention we had gotten that place, or the reason she had like rented that place to begin with, was because we were planning on holding high-end retreats to teach people about how they could, you know, progress in spiritual ascension, and just how they could learn, how they could protect their energy and just, you know, get better results in their life and just learn how to manifest better. So we wanted to have a lot of space. And then, I kid you not, like literally not even 24 hours, not even 12 hours before, like after we had met in the villa, you know, it was late at night, so we sleep through the night, and the next day we're like, hey, this wasn't even, I can't even say we, she says, hey, we should probably go somewhere else because this place is too expensive. And I thought I was staying with a millionaire, so first of all, that shouldn't be a problem. This is the first red flag. So we end up finding a place, and this wasn't easy because I'm not a native Spanish speaker. This person isn't either. My Spanish was way better than hers. But eventually we found like a camp that was dog friendly because she had dogs as well. And we go ahead and we move to, this was so difficult even moving the dogs because these were big like dogs, like wolf dogs. Like they're part wolf, part something else. And they're huge. So first of all, like it's hard to call for a taxi in a different language. I actually had a few taxi companies hang up on me because they just knew I wasn't a native Spanish speaker, and even though I was attempting, like, don't want to talk to you. Awful. But ended up having to get like 2 taxis to carry the dogs to the camp, which was cool. Spain was really hot, especially like during midday, so that was kind of rough for the dogs. But we ended up going to the camp. I ended up paying for the nights that we were going to stay there, which was also another red flag I should have noticed. I paid for the deposit. I spent like a lot of my money. Basically, I was under the impression was all I needed to do was get to Spain, and I would be making money working with her. And yeah, so I ended up going there, and like how I said, it was really stressful, and honestly like kind of almost a miracle that everything lined up perfectly and ended up me getting there. Like I didn't have a lot of money to throw around when I got to Spain because I was taking a leap of faith across the world. Like I left my old life behind. I had my laptop and my computer, so I was like, I can run my business overseas, but I can't trade my time for money anymore. I left that behind. Like I could probably get a serving job in Spain, but I'm gonna have to learn more Spanish, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to get a visa too, so like, really putting all my eggs in her basket, straight up, like, don't fail me, Lucy, seriously, please don't fail me. So, I go ahead and I pay the deposit, I pay for all our nights to stay, I'm running out of money. I think I had to get my parents to loan me money, like, very quickly after we moved to that camp. I don't know, at that point, Spain was cool. We really didn't do much work. Never once did I get to help her with a client. We both have very high energy, so I don't want to make this seem like it was all her fault, because I know that just me, being my character, I can be annoying sometimes, but a lot of times in each other's presence, and also because we spent like about 10 straight days with each other, with not adequate space away from each other, we annoyed each other so much, and we got on each other's nerves. And also because of how high our energy is, like, we would trigger each other as well without even meaning to, and that caused a lot of conflict, and also just our ideas of the world. cause some friction. And yeah, it's not even necessary for me to go too deep into much depth with who she is and how she sees the world and everything, because I don't know, I don't think it's important to talk about people, but this had a lot to do with the circumstance. But I don't know, as far as a coach who is very in tune with the spiritual side of life, I heard a lot of talk about energy from this woman, and I basically, like, I was under the impression that I'm gonna be mentored by this person, so like I'm basically just kind of studying this person as I'm helping them, and I'm, you know, walking through Spain and helping them get their taxis and order the food in every restaurant, and like, you know, buy groceries for her and stuff like this, and stay out of her way so she can work. And I don't know, there were some times, like, because her energy is her livelihood, there were a lot of circumstances where she would be doing something she considered her work or her job or her business, and I felt like I was getting in the way, whether that was just by my presence or me and my emotions or my speech or whatever I say. And a lot of times I was confirmed this because she told me I was messing up her energy and I was messing up her flow, and because of that we weren't going to be able to manifest any money. And so like I really just felt like I was in a paradox where it's like I'm supposed to be helping you, but you aren't letting me help you. And like there were some issues as well, because like she asked me to be her personal assistant, but there were no contracts, there was no wage. She's like, we'll just probably split money from the clients. And don't ever do something like I just did. Seriously, like you got to be careful with people that you can't trust everybody, and you got to be careful with who you trust is what I'm trying to say. Like if somebody is trying to get you to work in a different country and there's no papers that you had to sign at all, like that's a flag as well that you should be looking at, quite red. So just watch out for that. But I don't know, after close to about 10 days or so of just me and her annoying each other and triggering each other, and me not being able to help her, and me not getting what I expected, and me having issues, like I couldn't even use my laptop in Spain, so I couldn't work on my business, and I couldn't get a SIM card because I didn't have the time to get away from her because I was watching the dogs, and we didn't have an adequate place to let the dogs be while we were gone without them destroying the stuff. Like that bungalow or the campsite or whatever, the place we were staying at that I was paying for, eventually after the couple nights that we stayed there were over, we moved to a different place, like a more pet friendly hotel. The place was trashed, the dogs like totally trashed the place, and we didn't get the deposit back. And there was conflict about her paying for the hotel room. Like she was kind of upset about that, and I'm like how do you expect me to do this? Like do you understand what I signed up for and like what I'm sacrificing to be here? And so essentially we're in a hotel, we're there for a couple more days, and at one point we're pissing each other off, we're in each other's energy so much, but at one point she tells me that like she hasn't really made $1 million in her business. She told me that she has really only made roughly about 100,000, and she told me that it's because of the currency difference, where she just got it mixed up and she let people know that it was, you know, $1 million USD and not $1 million something else. Like celebrated and let everybody know how successful she was, and I was under the impression she was a millionaire as well. And then like once, this was like 2 days before I even left to go back home, I was like, wow, so I really did get deceived. Like not only did I have to, you know, take the leap of faith and then ask for more money because she didn't pay me and she was having me spend my money, she had to ask for money from her parents as well. And this person is 10 years older than me. So I was like, why am I, like at this point I've been in a different country for about 10 days, I haven't made a penny, and I have spent more money than I brought. So I got played. Wonderful. That's how I see it, honestly. Like, it's okay, and I don't have any bad feelings at this point in time, but I really feel like I got played, and I'm not going to say that it's all her fault. I do have to accept some responsibility. I know that whenever I arrived in Spain, I wasn't what she expected, and she didn't get what she wanted either, so it sucks. She did tell me before I left that she was going to reimburse me the money that I spent on the trip, and once I got home, I gave her my info. She left me on red. I tried to message her back. She told me that, like, I was causing drama and that she didn't like my vibe, and then she blocked me. And I'm like, okay, wonderful, beautiful. And after that, I was very upset. Like, I came back from Spain very grateful to be in America for one, but I felt so defeated because I had sat there for the beginning of my year and prayed and just sat there and prayed and hoped to manifest and spoke so many positive words into the universe where I said, I'm going to become financially free and independent. I'm going to leave the country and I'm going to make all my dreams come true. And it had taken so long. And then all of a sudden I thought everything I wanted just landed on my lap. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I thought it was everything I wanted. And it got me out and it got me my passport. It got me a lot of things, so I'm grateful for it, but it wasn't truly what I needed. So I'm thankful I was able to realize that and come back. But once I came back, I was very upset and my spirit hurt a lot. My trust hurt a lot. I was very upset. I felt used. I felt manipulated. I felt betrayed. And honestly felt like I failed because I had the intention of coming to Spain with the intentions of probably not coming back, or when I did come back, I planned on being a millionaire too, you know. I planned on maybe just flying my family out, you know. I planned on maybe not having to come back to America, not if I wanted to, you know. So my hopes were high and I got crushed after that, and that really hurt. But over time, and it didn't even take that much time, so I'm very grateful. And I had so much help. Honestly, I want to thank like my mom and my grandma and my brother and my sister and my close friends and everybody like that were there to support me once I got back, and they really helped me like just get back into my own energy, because like once I got back from Spain, from dealing with this high vibe person who I felt manipulated me, I didn't want to touch my crystals. I didn't want to talk to anybody spiritual. I was like, this is some BS. Like, this is messed up. Like, I didn't want to hear the word energy at all. I didn't want anything to do with that. That energy crap had a bad taste in my mouth. But over time, thankfully, I was able to get back into my energy and just kind of like get into my routine and just get exactly what I needed out of that trip. And like, even though it didn't work how I wanted, I learned a lot of valuable things like through that trip, and I am going to keep that in my 9th house as long as I live. And I'm just so blessed and so thankful. One thing that I did learn from, we'll say, Lucy, is that, I mean, I didn't learn that energy is real from her. I've been knowing that. We all knew that. But she was obsessed with her flow. And what I mean by this is like how the energy comes and goes. Like if the energy's good, you can make action and you can manifest and you can talk to your clients and you can do these things because it feels good to do so. But when the energy is low and things aren't flowing and it feels like you're resisting to do those things, you don't do those things. Like one thing I noticed by hanging out with her, and I was kind of mesmerized by how she got her results, was just like, she doesn't hustle and she doesn't stress herself out and she doesn't just try to be as busy as she can. She does what feels like she should do. She does what feels natural and she follows where her soul resonates, and she got results that way. Like everything she's ever needed has come that way. So that was a lesson that I learned that was very valuable, and I'm so grateful to her for that as well. So even though everything didn't turn out great, I'm grateful for her for the lesson she taught me. And at this point, even though the things ended up how they didn't want to, I forgive her. She doesn't need an apology. She's not expecting one. We're not on good terms. She blocked me. She doesn't really want to talk to me, but I have no hard feelings for her. It's really not worth it. I can't hold that stuff, and if I want her life to be good as well, I can't hold that either. And she put a lot of faith in me and trust in me, and I respect that. So I'm honestly just grateful to have crossed paths with her, and I have no negative emotions about that. And if I made it seem the other way, I don't mean to, but I just wanted you to get my side of the story and experience my pain and my side of it, and just how everything unfolded for me, because honestly it was like a win-win coming into contact with her for both of us. And then like when we met, we were like win-losing, and then it just started getting into a lose-lose. And then at a certain point we just had to split up and go different ways, which is okay. But I eventually got back in my own energy. It might have taken a couple weeks or maybe close to a month, but I got back in my own energy. I was doing great. I'm still doing great. Back to my crystals, learning how to just get in my flow. Once I came back, I really took that lesson to heart that I learned from her. I'm not going to stress myself out still. I do what feels natural, and I get results that way. My intuition tells me exactly what I'm supposed to do at every moment, and that is like invaluable. It's amazing. Like, I'm so blessed for that. So I kind of just got back into the groove of things. Once I got back home, I got my old job back, and it's been wonderful. It's still holding all my needs while I invest in my business, because I'm not ready to just do this full time. I don't know. I just want to invest more time and energy into it and gain more knowledge so I can maybe do this again and have MetaGifts at a point where it's spinning itself and I can start the next business. But the only really notable thing I would say that happened after that is, so I got back in October, and then I'd say I probably had close to like a month or so, ordinary time, just getting back into it. And then as far as going and respecting my flow, there was one day that I was reading a book called The Science of Self-Realization, and it was talking about chanting Krishna's name, which is Christ in Hindu. And I just was like, dang, I need prayer beads. So I went to the metaphysical store in my town. I went and bought prayer beads. I ended up getting a discount too that day, and I just knew I was supposed to be there as well. And I asked the clerk, her name's Karen, while I was checking out, I'm like, do you guys still do Reiki healing attunements? And I've always wanted to do Reiki healing. I read a book about Reiki a couple years ago, and I was just interested, and I just was like, this is really cool, but if I need a teacher to give me my attunement, I better find a teacher so I can actually do this. So it just knew it was the right time, and I asked, and she's like, well, the next month's this was in November, so the December calendar wasn't out yet, but she pulls out the notebook, and she's like, well, actually we're doing a level 1 class with the attunement, and there's one spot left. And I'm like, sign me up, because I need in. So I got signed in, paid for it, and I went to this class. And if you're not familiar with Reiki healing, Reiki is a Japanese word for universal energy. So it's like Star Wars, like the Force, everything around you, inside and outside of you, all the energy that makes up this universe. You are just learning how to channel it through Reiki. You get a teacher who already has their body tuned into that type of energy. And the cool thing about this energy is like it's tangible. If you were to take like a Kirlian photograph, get your aura photographed, if you're a healer, your hands are going to vibrate at like 3 or 4 hertz higher than a person who doesn't have the attunement, because the energy is literally being channeled through your hands. Some people call Reiki healing touch, but once you get your attunement, you can channel this energy through your hands. You can heal other people, you can touch yourself, you can touch plants, you can touch animals, you can direct this into your food, you can direct all this energy. But I signed up for the class just on a whim, because it was just the day I needed to get prayer beads. My intuition just let me know, hey, it's time to go in there, and hey, probably ask about that. And I got a spot in the class. I was able to go to that class in the very beginning of this month. It was amazing, early December. I got my attunement, no exaggeration, that attunement changed my life, for the better, in pretty much every way. So once you go through an attunement, a Reiki attunement, it actually will start you in a process which a lot of people would compare to detox, where your physical body is going to go through symptoms, like you might get headaches and your acne might get bad. Mine got pretty bad. once my body started like letting go of all these toxins and things that weren't serving me. In addition to your physical body, your mental body, your astral body, your emotional body are all going to be affected by Reiki. It heals all layers. Like some people who have Reiki done to them, like I remember my teacher told me this story. There were no names, so it doesn't really matter, but she was giving, like, I think she had a certificate that she gave out for a free Reiki session, and somebody wanted it, and they were just acting really, like, entitled and being a real big jerk about getting this free session, about getting their massage. Give me my massage. It's not really a massage, but basically, like, Karen did it because, you know, you got to hold true in your word, and as she was doing this healing session, the client just started crying so much, like, just had to, here comes the waterworks, because you know, there were issues in the emotional body, and just coming into contact with that universal energy and just feeling that love just completely changed that person, and just the sense of feeling love was just enough to just let it all go, you know? It's very powerful, and if you want to know what it feels like to receive Reiki, feeling loved would be the best way I could explain it. You just feel so loved and just so relaxed, and when I give Reiki, that's how I feel. I'll also feel a little bit spacey, and I'll feel light, and I'll also feel hot. And my hands will get really hot too. It's really cool. It was worth every penny. The cool thing about Reiki attunements is it follows you the rest of your life. It'll never go away. So I'm so blessed. It's something I'm using on a daily basis. It's changed my life for the good. And I'm going to be doing level 2 next month, and then following up with the master practitioner as well, because that's a skill I'm going to need. It's going to be great. I already know I'm a healer, so literally took me to the next level, and I'm so thankful for that as well. It's been amazing, and that kind of really covers the monumental things that happened in 2018. It's been a great year. This year coming up is going to be even greater. I honestly feel like 2018 was my year, but I'm going to say the exact same thing in about a year's time, so stay tuned. In addition to that, I do want to just show you guys a couple things that I have next to me, just because these are really cool, and I want to share these. First thing, which I'm very happy to share, this is beautiful. Shout out to my man Dylan Boyer. I love this guy. This is literally the best gift I've ever received, ever, straight up. This is beautiful. Thank you, man. You put so much love into this, and I can just feel it. It's amazing. Oh, I love it. I love it. Isn't that crazy that, like, about 14, 15 months ago, this wasn't even a thing, and, like, now it's getting tangible as ever. Like, dude. Like, oh man, I'm blessed. So that's amazing. Shout out to Dylan. And I've read a lot of books this year. I read so many books this year. There are more books, but these are just a few books that I want to show you just because I saw them on my shelf, and just wanted to grab a few because these were valuable. There were more that were valuable, but I'll just show you these. This one is called The Little Red Book of Selling by Jeffrey Gitomer. This one is a really good book as far as just understanding sales, what goes into sales, exchanging value, and how to improve yourself as a salesman or woman. This is very valuable. Very, very smart guy. Really good book for sales. This book was really cool. Navigating the Out-of-Body Experience. This is really cool. If you've ever, if you're interested in like astral projection or lucid dreaming, this would be a good book to check out. Radical New Techniques by Graham Nichols. Very, very good book. It will teach you about like the different bodies that the body has, that your spirit has, not just physical. You know, like your astral, your mental, and it'll also give you some steps that you can take to get out of your body if you wanted to. Same thing with this one. This book about astral projection gives you a better concept of what astral projection really is, and the different layers of your own body. Like, you are more than just this physical body. A lot of people are so attached, but you're the spirit inside of your body, and there are levels to it. You're like an onion. You're like an ogre. You got layers to it. This one's great too. The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. Great book about just what really goes into charisma and being charismatic and having people like you and just becoming magnetic. This is a very good book, which goes into how you can gain people on your side and just become more influential and more likable, and also how you can better appreciate other people. It also goes hand in hand. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if I even read this year. It might have been the year before, but this was on the shelf. This is financial wisdom. Read this book. These books, this is a really good series. This is the Advanced Yoga Practice series I would recommend by Yogani. There are many books in this series, but I would definitely recommend start with Deep Meditation. That's the first one, and it'll take you into pranayama, and then tantra, and then like yoga, and then mudras, and all that good stuff. You can read about it. It's wonderful. This book is like, if I could tell you to only read one book maybe next year out of all these books, read this book. Read Creating Money. Creating Money really just changed the way I looked at money itself as energy, and it honestly helped me identify a lot of limiting beliefs I had about earning money and about becoming an entrepreneur and just making any changes in my life. Once I read and understood this book, and this is a book that you should probably read more than once because you want to implement everything. This is just wisdom, and this just changed my life. It helped me like kind of connect to my life's work as well. Not only just make money, this book helps you understand the concept of giving value to receive value. You create money by giving value into the world, and the best value you can give is tied to your life's purpose, and this book will help you find it. So read this book. It's such a blessing. And one book that I would definitely recommend you guys check out, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. Volume 1, Volume 2 is good as well. I'm not really through Volume 2, but I'm getting there. This book changed everything I thought I knew about the world, about history, about energy, about my life, about my spirit, about my past, about my future, about consciousness, about the dimensions, about everything. So if you want to turn your world upside down, read that book. Okay, so my camera just died. I'm filming the rest of this on my phone because I don't want to charge my camera and wait and then finish up on that one. I was so close to finishing and then that thing died. So to recap, if you want to change everything you know about everything, read The Flower of Life. If you guys made it through this whole video, thank you so much for watching, because I know this was very long. A lot happened this year. Thank you for sticking with me and helping me make this year so amazing. It's been a blessing and just a miracle. So many things have happened this year, and I can't wait to show you guys what amazing things are to come in 2019. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting me. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. If you guys have any New Year's resolutions or any goals, feel free to leave them in the comments, because I am always interested in hearing you guys, what you have to say, and goals as well. I love goals. Let's all grow together like a bunch of trees. Thanks. Love you guys. Stay blessed.